I don't have the exact dates. I think we took it over right around. I think we got that through a culmination buy that was somewhere around like 1912 to 1915. I'd have to go grab some shit and look it all up. But yeah.
Hmm. This is
Interesting
amazing
fact right there. Amazing.
Yeah, amazing how it comes back around. And today you get to connect with somebody in a different way that still brings the brand back around to you.
Yeah, that's super cool. The fact that he was behind Preserve is just.
I'm setting up Facebook Live, so I'll be back in a second. Not Facebook Live, but YouTube Live.
YouTube Live, yeah, because I'm sharing it Facebook Live groups now.
Yeah, let me. I got that.
Turner, any interesting barrels that you've gotten lately? Anything off the beaten path, so to speak?
Yeah, my wife loves roses, and they come for, and we've done some really nice barrels that might have like an OESB or something tied to them that we've been sitting on for almost 11 months, and it's phenomenal. What we're really excited to have a couple of releases coming up for Ohio for Single Barrel Saturday, and that's been a huge phenomenal get for us. Just having the opportunity to introduce the brand into that market, and we're a lot looking forward to.
Nice.
Looking forward to Single Barrel Saturday because I will be up there in Ohio for that day.
I've never heard of something like this.
Yeah, it's better than Black Friday because Black Friday's turned to all internet. So this is like our way to go out and still participate.
Well, and you're in Kentucky. If there's a drop at a store, everybody goes and sits and waits for that one store or those three stores.
I hate rum,
and so it's a very concentrated area.
It's rum that tastes like whiskey. Okay, thank God.
You pick a Saturday and just say to the open market, here it is. Like, everyone's got an open chance.
Yeah, I think they're gonna surprise a lot again this year. They did last year. There's gonna be a lot of neat stuff that comes through and probably some surprises along the way.
Wonderful. I mean, all right. So right now we're completely full cast. We've got the kid here.
It's not demeaning at all by that nickname. Not at all. It's fun. Well, who's here though? Like, hi. I don't know if I met all of you.
You know, you've met me, Super Nash.
I have. I love you, dude. I'm so happy to see you,
brother. Good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Wait, is it like?
No, now it's perfect.
Okay, awesome. All right, yeah.
Love
you, Super Nash.
Love you too, brother.
Okay, and then we have Turner Wathen here is our guest tonight. He takes rum and he sticks it mainly in whiskey barrels. Now, sometimes he by accident pours the whiskey into the rum, but for the most part, he finishes whiskey in rum or not whiskey, but rum finished in whiskey barrels. But the balance, as you're going to see tonight, is that a lot of times with whiskey, like, right, Turner, you don't want to have the rum overpower the whiskey. But what you've done as far as a balance, it always seems like with the rum, you get the whiskey right to the right point where you almost think you're drinking whiskey with that little bit of, it's just a balance that he's able to do that makes it so fantastic.
So he's made rum good, is what you're saying. It tastes like whiskey. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a rum guy. Sorry.
Yeah, no offense taken. I have not made rum good. we find really, really good really good rum, and then we just don't fuck it up. And a lot of rum rum is kind of like built like rum as a whole product category is in today's age, outside of some really premium producers, it's kind of like making Fireball or making vodka. You want to make the largest volume produced spirit at the lowest cost, and there are some particular incentives around that. You do that, and then therefore you don't make a very fine quality or aged product. And we just apply whiskey standards to the rum concept.
That's interesting. So basically, it's like you're basically trying to you're basically improving the standards that rum has. Do you think that rum standards aren't good enough in like most industries?
No, not at all. Rum standards are fine. They are not well marketed.
Gotcha.
And okay. That's done on purpose to create misinformation. So there are particular Caribbean countries that have geographical indicators that standardize and qualify the production of a type of rum. It's just those countries really don't sell to the U.S. because we don't have a huge consumer base for the product, which is fine. Like America or bourbon is our native spirit, and rum always has its place, like tequila or something else. But unlike tequila, where they are promoting cleanliness or añejo or a particular type of aged agave, rum, we as a general product category, there's a lot of bastardization. Bacardi 151, like that's your thought of rum.
Yeah.
Whereas our introduction is to get people to understand that rum is just like any other finely crafted spirit. It's fermented, it's distilled. It happens to be from a cane stock, our byproduct of cane juice. So it's sugar based, not grain based. But if you age something long enough, and if you use particular quality standards on your distillation methods, whether you're using pot or column or pot column blend, you can make something that doesn't suck.
I'm hoping you can deliver on that.
Try.
So the kid here, he's I love having him on the podcast because he gives a perspective of that young person who, when we were that age, probably we weren't drinking spirits so much for the taste, but it was more the effect, right? So I basically he's my youngest son's best friend, and I basically when he came on, he liked to drink for effect, and I've been trying to get him.
I like both.
Well, now he likes taste. That we're starting to get, and I really feel that when you're drinking, if you're drinking for the taste and the relaxation aspect of it, it really turns spirits into something different, especially than what we had as a perspective as young people ourselves. And I wish somebody would have got to me earlier. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff I think I missed out on as far as taste goes over the years, based off of just trying to bypass the spirit, the taste of the spirit, just to get to the effect, because that's what everybody else was doing.
I would love if somebody made me skip my years of drinking Natty Light in high school.
You can't replace those years. That's
true.
Too much fun.
Yep.
He's like, Turner's like, fuck that, drink it.
No.
All right, so Super Nash, what do you got? And CT, what do you got? And then Turner, what do you got? And I'll tell you what what you sent me, and we got to start, tasting through this, right?
I thought I sent you up samples of along with your bottle when I picked up your bottle.
Yeah.
I got the 9-year Barbados that was in the old Rip Van Winkle barrel.
I
that
actually got you sent that bottle.
Yeah, I got you a whole bottle of that. And then I got the 14-year aged Jamaican bottle of rum. And then I also have see,
That's the El Salvador.
11, yeah, the 11-year-old El
Yep.
Salvador. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the three that I have. What do you got, CT? You got the old Rip Van Winkle, right?
Yep, I have the
9-year. Yeah,
Yep.
the 9-year Barbados.
same one, and then I've got some Fortuitous Union sitting here that I'm got in one of my glasses, and then I of course have some special bottles that I'm not bringing out that I took with me along our barrel pick. Well, it wasn't our barrel pick, but it was fun to be on the barrel pick and take bottles.
Yeah.
And take some extra bottles with.
I don't know. Hey, CT, I don't know how you don't call that our barrel pick, because afterwards it turned into our every barrel pick, because all Turner was doing is just filling up bottle after bottle there.
Hey, when Starlight leaves flasks laying around, you have to use them. You don't want to let those go to waste.
Oh my God. That was one fun day, I have to admit.
It was amazing to sit there and drink from a Woodford Double Oak and a Weller and just all the different barrels. I think the only one that really probably struck me weird was the Fiji rum. I think, was that Turner, am I right? Was the Fiji one that had more of like a peated taste to it?
Yeah. After you guys left, we went and took them and dumped them into some Weller barrels to try and soften that up.
Yeah. That was the little odd, but the other ones were just home run after home run. It was like, okay, yeah, let's keep doing this.
Hey, Turner, what happened to that cognac barrel? That was full of cognac.
That's oh yeah. We will start releasing some Armagnac and some Calvados under a different brand early next year.
Okay. Well, that's really getting into unique spirits, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
Cover all your bases.
Let's just fucking simplify it and do Kentucky State Bourbon, but all of a sudden now.
No, that's not what you're about. You also it was very unique. What I found is that the 52 card pickup they play with your barrels.
Yeah.
where everything's supposed to be one place, and then you go there and it's all in different places, and that was very unique. But I think it could lend to some long lost finds, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have a huge stock, but we can certainly lose it. Like I said, I can show up on Sunday and know where everything is, and I can show up on Tuesday and it's all in a different warehouse or a location, and I'm just got to go searching.
Right. As if it's not challenging enough, right?
What was the barrel that we drank that was like your special barrel that you said would probably never get bottled? Is it still there?
Yeah, no, it's it's our own little in-house version of Fortuitous Union, except it's a blend of 8-year Foursquare with 8-year 95.5 MGP rye. And instead of it being like more rum to rye, it's pretty much 50-50.
Oh, all right, guys, let's get the podcast going. CT, if we do stick to the 45 minutes, you'll be out of here at 9:30, like you said. So let's there's Luca.
Luca's here.
Luca's there.
He's here. Tell him hi.
All right, so what I'm going to do is start recording. We'll have a 30-second delay, and then we'll get going. All right?
Before you do that, Greg Snyder says Ted Huber and family are awesome people.
Yep.
Yeah, they sure are.
All right, I'm going to start the podcast. Here we go. Oh my.
What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
All right. Start.
You smell. Smell.
Hmm.
Drinking bird, sipping on some scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do with drinking, everything we do, and we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, raisins in hell, we're making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, we're here to have fun, we know it. We're here to have fun.
All right. Welcome
All
back to
right.
another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We've got,
Nash.
and we've
And we
got,
got CT.
What's up, everybody?
And we got the kid in the house.
Hi.
And our host, Tiny.
yep,
And
I'm
our
here. And we also have a special guest,
special guest.
Turner Wathen.
And
He is Rolling Fork Spirits. We've had Turner on before. We've hung out with Turner. Welcome, Turner.
welcome, Turner.
Thank
All
you,
right.
gentlemen. Thank you.
It's great to have you on the podcast. Remember, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.scotchybourbonboys.com for everything Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Glen Cairns t-shirts, bourbon balls. If you want something like that, check it out or contact me on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, and then also on all the major podcast formats. Check us out on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, and any other place that you listen. Great to have everybody in the house tonight. It's good to have a full cast on a Tuesday night. We are doing this podcast for Rolling Fork Spirits, and Turner, it's always great to have you on here. It's like I love your background. You know, you are professional tonight.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know it. Yeah.
So we know you didn't set that up all together. Was that your wife that just got you all set up beforehand, or did you actually do that?
My wife did that.
Well, we
Cheers
applaud
to her.
her.
All right.
Yes, we give her.
His wife.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I have to say, enjoy the background, but also why don't you give everybody just a brief rundown of how you got into this business? And initially, I know it. We've heard, Supernash and CT kind of, but it's always good to, run over for all the new people and the kid. The kids.
I got no idea what's going on. I need some background.
Being a kid.
I'll let him fool you. He knows what's going on.
I appreciate you guys your time and allowing me to come on here. Rolling Fork derived from my family's Rolling Fork distillery that was started in 1786 before Kentucky was a state. Fast forward to 100 years, we were then one of the largest whiskey producers in the state of Kentucky, the first producer to install a continuous column still under the R.E. Wathen Company. I can tell you a whole different story on a whole different podcast about the old Granddad brand. Basil Hayden's family and how our family came to acquire the Old Granddad brand and become one of the few medicinal producers during Prohibition. So up through 1950s, I was part of the largest whiskey conglomerate in the United States. And classic American story, you got 3 generations of bad spending and alcoholism, and now I peddle this bullshit through rum.
And while there's a brief break, Stacy Pritchard says, "Hey Turner."
Hello, Stacy. Thank you for joining. Now we got some hitters on here.
Well, and you've also got Greg Schneider talking about how your family has such a long, rich tradition in Kentucky. He's like, kudos to you. So, I mean, Turner, we know obviously, and I mean, you're a big friend, fan of Greg. Greg Schneider's with us tonight on the Facebook Live, but I think he's also a fan of what you're doing too. And that's one thing that's great about the spirits industry. Maybe talk about how, what you're doing and all the people that you've met and the acceptance, because it's like you're not doing something that's most, like when you're talking about the whiskey culture and everything, you wanted to do something different, but talk about how it's been accepted.
So I'm rum. I never clarified that. Now I'm one of the larger independent importers of rum in the United States. So I import rum from over 10 countries of jurisdiction. I have rum aging from unaged up to 18 years of age. But to qualify myself, I'm an independent bottler, meaning that I don't do any distillation currently. Being an independent bottler, I source rums from all across the Caribbean, and I barrel age and bottle them at the Starlight Distillery and Hooper Winery. Much respect to Ted and Dana and Blake and the family. And for me, I never wanted to let my ancestry down. And so quality was the most important focal point of whatever I was going to do. And Greg can relate to the pitch deck culture of how we can rapid age something or find a way to create a tweak in something to make it better, faster, quicker. And in this industry, it does not work. Time in a barrel and production method and distillation method are the biggest factors that make something of ilk or of standard. And you can't bastardize that. You can't fix it. We've had people try recently. There's no micro aging that works. There's no rapid aging. If you flavor something, then they can just call it a liqueur. But what we care about is the time-honored tradition of aging something in a barrel and hoping that your flavor sense and your particular effort in your craft allows you to procure something in a bottle that an audience doesn't hate.
Greg says, "Amen, brother."
Yeah, and so right now we got to get something in our glasses, and I definitely have also the wheated bourbon cask. That's the 9-year. Is that the cask that we tasted? The Pappy cask that
That's not the Pappy cask, but that is an ORVW. That's
okay.
you guys. We drank out of an actual Bernheim Weaver from 1997. that one was produced at that cask came from the Buffalo Creek.
Okay. All right. So I've got that one. I've got the one you initially, the Barbados 9-year that you sent up, which was bottled in Indiana.
You have a 10-year sample, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, man, that if it's the Whippersnapper 10-year, it's phenomenal, and it knows it's like bourbon. And we're learning, we're learning a lot about oak expressions and the different types of French oak or American white oak and their impact, and whether it's a wine barrel or a port barrel. And with toasted or lightly charred barrels, rum is such a soft base product, but it's sugar based. It's not very oily in nature. That something that's seasoned or toasted, because it's not charred, it doesn't, and it hasn't already been aged. It can pump in a lot of like menthol, a lot of very viscous or very intense flavors, very much oak-like and menthol-like, and it does this real nasty effect for like the first 9 months, and up to like 17 months, it's not a very good product. But once you get past those 17 months and get to like 2 years plus aging, the rum in those types of barrels then becomes this nice, rich butterscotch. And that 10-year, it noses like a bourbon. It almost drinks like a bourbon. I was very pleased with that barrel.
You're getting my hopes up.
No, my hopes are so far up right now. That's insane. So once again, although it does like tons of butterscotch up front, what is the proof on that? Holy shit.
Are we sure this is rum? This is actually good.
That's what Turner's doing. That's why this is so, I want, and it's like what Turner does is he changes your perception of what rum can be, because honestly, it's alchemy, right, Turner? Did we lose him?
You're not wrong. No, no, you're not wrong at all.
It's rum and it's whiskey, and it becomes its own thing. And I find what you're doing is kind of bringing, where most of the time with whiskey and you don't want to over finish it to make it taste too much like port, or you don't want to over finish to make it too much taste, take too much like rum. But with rum and whiskey, it's almost like you want to over flavor it with the whiskey so that the whiskey is balancing with the rum, so you're not sure whether you're drinking rum or whiskey, but you're getting all the really awesome flavors of that vanilla from the rum. And this one, like you said, I can pick up a little bit of that menthol. There's a little bit of that, almost like it's a breath mint or a buttermint, one of those, those buttermints that you have after it's there. But then there's that butterscotch and that whiskey flavor, and it's such a, I would say, you could call this the rolling fork party.
Actually, I gotta tell you, this is the one that I poured, and if you can talk about this one, because you won at the World Spirits competition in San Francisco. You got a gold medal for this one. This is the 11-year-old El Salvador. And I got to tell you, this is like a chocolate caramel candy bar in your mouth. This is just full of, it's like a holiday candy bar every time I taste it.
Yeah.
This
So
is
it's like 2018, and I brokered 25 barrels of El Salvadorian rum from the Ron Chichuichan. I'm going to mispronounce his name. I apologize, Ron. Distillery. There's only one distillery in El Salvador. Holiday and shit. And so I wired half of the buy, and then no one responded for 5 months. I was like, oh, I got grifted.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what? You play in international waters, you're gonna get bit by a shark. Shit happens. And then all of a sudden, the guy pops back up and he's like, "Oh, I'm ready." I'm like, "What? Oh my god, this is great." He's like, "And also, if you can come pick it up yourself, you can have it. I won't make you pay any more." I'm like, "You got two gringos to get in a van and make it to El Salvador."
Jesus, do you have a death wish?
Oh my God.
It's like, "Oh man, I'll pay the second half of the money owed. But let's put this on a tank and get the fuck out of there because I won't make it back." And we got this phenomenal vanilla bomb that was, you know, right around 120 proof. And so then we proofed it down to 110 and then put it in a variety of bourbon, rye, port, and sherry casks and let it ride for 22 months. And what was fun about that project was the base product was vanilla heavy plus, but very singular. No maturation, no buttery middle palate, no real good finish. Like it was just it was what it was. It was straight vanilla out of a column still. They made a very clean product, and we were able to just kind of see maturation over 2 seasons in almost 2 years and see what it could do to a base product, and we were very thrilled with the outcome.
Amazing.
So, one of the unique things about all your bottles and barrels, it seems like you have a story like for every single one. Like there's something that happened that wasn't normal, and that's one thing that's really kind of cool. I mean, you have all these different brands and all this stuff that's happened to it and all the different things and all the, you're so involved personally. Do you just have What do you do with the barrels where it's like it's just an average thing? You buy it, you age it, you put it in something, you dump it, you bottle it, and then are you disappointed when that happens?
Uh, no, because you have those and you know them, and so you just buy them, and then you don't talk about them.
Never mention it again.
Yeah, they're like the coworkers you don't like, or the cousins in your family that you don't really want to talk to at family functions. Like you just live with them, and then we cycle them off to the Starlight crew and let them play with them. And but you know what we've been, and part and parcel is a lot of our partnership with the Starlight Distillery, is it's increased our ability to play with more unique shit. So we're in our 7th year of operation, our 5th year of sales, and obviously we have a world, we have so much to learn, but we continue to find opportunities to get that growth, and you just keep making more successes than failures, and you don't go out of business, hopefully.
Well, that's a good plan. I mean, not to go out of business, right? But at the same time, I think it's hard to go out of business when you're doing what you do and you're producing the liquid that you are producing, and then putting the time and effort that you put in to promote it. So I think that you're doing all the right things, but I know from the standpoint, some days you wake up and you got to say, what the fuck am I doing? And then other days you can't wait for the alarm to go off, right?
Oh, it's happened. It's,
Hey, Turner, how many states are you distributing in now?
so we are now in 18 states, and then we will be most likely exporting to Canada starting in January of next year.
You're in Ohio, and Ann is listening. So
She's chiming in pretty heavily here. Read a few of her comments.
You want me to read a few of her comments?
She harassing
I forgot
us?
you don't have your glasses there.
No,
Does she talk about the single barrel that she's going to have at the single barrel Saturday?
It's a secret there, CT.
It's always a secret.
No, she says rum and bourbon is a marriage for the ages. But then she's talking about Donovan Goble's reply, which he says, I have lots of amazing rum that are far more interesting than any whiskey I've ever tasted. And then she says, Donovan Goble, right? People are missing out. And on some level, I'm very okay with that. More for me.
And then
right?
Anne asks right here, she asked me to ask you, Turner, what's the most amazing barrel finished rum you've ever had?
That's okay. Yeah, it's a loaded question. And
I have a feeling this is going to come with it was an accidental barrel
nope,
or something.
No. I want to stand up and go find it. In general, my favorite, because I've drinking enough of all of it, where I really like Jamaican rum. It's kind of synonymous with double pot stilled bourbons, where because it's distilled at a lower temperature and it has more of those fatty acids, or what in rum, the fatty acids that allow a lot of those flavor components, it gets really interesting. And the more that bottle stands open and breathes, it changes over time. And so I've had some older Jamaican rums that are extraordinarily impressive, and that it's like you have one sip, you walk away, you come back 15 minutes later, it's an entirely different experience, and you can repeat that. And that's just such a lucky kind of experience to find, but you also got to be willing to chase the weirdness. We did a 22-year-old single barrel out of Guadalupe, which in that ilk was the most well-balanced yet flavor compacted product that I've ever seen go into a barrel. And it had, instead of like having a start, middle, and finish, it had a start, and then you got citrus, and then you got this like rich caramel middle body, and then you got this toast from the barrel, and from the vanillins from the char, and then it went back to citrus, and you're like, and then you would go back 2 days later and find something different. So my favorite thing about what I'm doing, much like what you guys are doing, is we're kind of on this journey to just try really cool shit and see what's out there.
Absolutely.
I actually have a weird question, if you don't mind me asking. Do you feel like your creativity when it comes to flavors is kind of limited by the market itself? Like you can't really do what you want to do?
Kid, look at the kid delivering. It doesn't limit what I want to do. It limits what I can sell. It limits and that's okay. That's okay, because a consumer-based market means that the consumer gets to dictate what they want. And so it's up to that person to decide. And I can try and convince you to put wasabi in your ketchup. I can try and convince you to put salt or mayonnaise or hot sauce in your ketchup, but like some dudes just want ketchup, and that's okay. And so I can throw a whole bucket of shit at you, but our biggest seller is Foursquare, which is from Barbados. It's a pot column blend. It's very well made. It's very well balanced. The Foursquare distillery doesn't go way outside on its yeast strain, so it's not doing something overly creative, but it delivers a phenomenal product. And that, for us, in some aspects, keeps the lights on. But I've got over 9 different countries of rum aging that I am more passionate about because they just get less attention. So maybe they need more attention. So I got to give it to them. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of education. And, I appreciate you guys for having me on to get people to buy into rum as a spirit category.
So, I'm just completely naive because the one thing that you send up to me all the time is finished rum, whiskey finished rum on a consistent basis, and or now the Amberana one that you sent up. I'm excited to taste that. But Rolling Fork has you sell just rum, right? You don't finish it all. You're selling rum, correct?
Well, so no, everything under Rolling Fork is a rum that has been secondarily matured in a second oak cask.
Okay.
For further maturation. We do buy some barrels that we love so much that we're like, we're not going to touch this. It stays in its original dusting cap, and we're not going to do any secondary finishing to it.
So that just stays in your garage for Friday nights.
Yep.
Party guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So Anne asks, can you come to Ohio? She wants you to come up to Ohio. I mean, you've got talk about real quick. You did send up one of the Ohio single barrel releases that you did just, I believe, in what was it, September? Was it?
Yeah.
So talk about that one, and then and then answer Anne's question. If you come up, she'll just tell her you're coming to my house and you're going to stay here. And if she wants to see you, she has to, that's what's got to happen.
He's staying with me.
What we got to do, Ann. So I was just in Ohio for the Ohio Rum Society's Halloween party in Columbus. Shout out to those guys. And that was a lot of fun. And Ohio is a control state.
Mm-hmm.
And control states, any state distributorship or just selling booze is not always the most fun thing because we follow a 3-tier system. You want to sell a t-shirt, you print a t-shirt, you put it online, you sell it. You want to sell alcohol, it's a whole different gamut. And Ohio approached us. It was like, we are interested in you guys. And we had already dealt with Oregon and North Carolina and Pennsylvania. And to be candid, it's a very unaware audience that is very frustrating to have a real clear conversation with about what aged spirits are. So then Ohio and Ann and these folks come along. They're like, we're interested in you guys. Like, you're not interested in us. Like, I pedal rum, that's not interesting to you, and you're a control state. We're not. No. They're like, no, we're really interested. And then they show up, and these guys picked 10 barrels. I was like, and also now you're my number 1 favorite state ever. So much. And so we were fortunate enough to release. So we're starting out with just Barbados Foursquare rum. It's a great introduction to the U.S. market to get people to step outside the bounds of American whiskey and try something new. It's phenomenal. And we rolled out some really awesome casks in the beginning. So for September, we released a 16-year-old Foursquare, which had no secondary finish. It was all just its original resting cask. It's at $1.24. It was distilled in 2007. And going back to the Foursquare distillery and when Richard and the Foursquare distillery was really picking up their own distillation methods, they really started hitting stride in 2006 and 2007. So we really like this mark. That year is phenomenal, and you'll see a a prefix on the cask number, which is FS07. We also did a 10-year Barbados rum, but it did those 2 years, Tiny, that you just sampled in a Woodford double oak barrel. I love it because I think it tastes like bourbon. It's phenomenal. And then we also did a 9-year Foursquare that sat in a Weller 14-year-old cask for over 17 months. All those are cask strength. They're all over 111 proof.
Wow. So the one OHLQ you sent up to us, that's the one that's been released already, correct?
Yes.
So we know that there's a lot more barrels coming, so we're excited about that. But also, so talk about you wanted a basis. So the one knows now. CT, do you have this? Did you buy this Ohio pick?
I didn't, because about that same time I was talking to Turner about, and it just before that it came out about the ORVW bottle, and that's the one that Nash and I bought, that Nash sent you. And I think that was just before that release came through the state of Ohio.
So the ORVW bottle, what? Okay, so we've got this kid. You so wasn't it? But you, what I get like on this one here, which the state, the state pick, which we do have, and you were talking about, but I get a ton of graham cracker. Like it's just like all graham cracker just on the nose, and then it's such a good balance of the barrel, but then there's a lot on this one, a ton of vanilla marshmallow kind of thing, right?
Yeah, like I'm getting almost something like it's just so. I'm not used to this much sweetness in a liquor, and I'm like, because usually I'm very turned off by that, but it works with this.
Right. That's the whole thing. That's where what the whiskey does to the rum. Now, Turner, are you the one? Is that your palate all the time, or do you have a team that's helping you?
Jordan and Jordan has a better palate than I do. My partner Jordan Morris, but it's just he and I making our own decisions. And so the sweetness on that one, whether you're trying the old rip cask, there's something about the wheated bourbon cask, which is a softer grain base than a traditional rye or a traditional corn-based whiskey, and the cane spirit that really allow a really soft vanilla balance to come out in that. Now, Foursquare is known for traditional toasted coconut, kind of in the middle palate, and so that helps build the middle palate. But the finish, this finish is much softer than 112 proof, and a lot of that has to do with the marrying balance of a wheated whiskey cask and the rum.
So Donovan Goebel is on tonight, and he's a rum fan. He talks about he likes the complexities of rum, and he's always liked it better than whiskey. And I respect that, because certain people's palates of what they like. Well, no, but the kid he does not like the sweetness, and so there's a lot of sweetness in rum that isn't always available in whiskey. Well, you have to admit, the sweetest rum compared to the sweetest whiskey, rum's going to kick its ass if you're looking for sweetness. But to balance that out like you do, that is a unique, and then make it marketable. But honestly, I've always looked at rum and its drinkability. There was always a drinkability where whiskey was a little bit harsher, and there's always that the sipping and the warmth, where rum, I have to admit, there's not too many times I've drank a good amount of whiskey where the next day ended up that was a good day. But I've drank a lot of rum and come out of it with almost being unscathed. I probably can drink twice as much rum than I could whiskey all throughout my whole life. How it affected me and everything. But at the same time,
I gotta drink more rum.
but what you've done is you've made it so freaking awesome that you pull in the the best of both worlds. And I mean,
yeah, I agree, because all through high school and all that, I used to be a rum drinker. That was my go-to, was always rum. And so I was always into all these different kinds of rum, and it wasn't Bacardi. Bacardi was like my turnoff of rums, but this, what you're doing, like I say, it is reinvented myself with rum, but the next step, and Turner was just now talking about it.
Let's do it.
Is the 9-year Barbados, finished in the old Rip Van Winkle wheated barrels. So pour y'all a little shot of that. And I know CT, he just got up, but when he comes back, that's the bottle he has.
So my question is, Turner,
which bottle do I have?
The old Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, I had to go get the 9-year Barbados. So you got it sitting up there.
We all have it right now.
Yep. CT, we're pouring up the 9-year Barbados there.
I already drank that stuff. I moved on.
Okay.
But my question is, that old Rip Van Winkle barrel, that still, Turner, was not the same barrel that we were tasting out. That was actually a Pappy Van Winkle barrel from Buffalo Trace, right?
Oh, so the one that that you guys were picking out of, that was a 15-7 barrel from the old Bernheim distillery where Pappy was originally produced.
Whoa. That's this one.
So the ORVW, the old Rip, that's what Chris is.
That's what he wouldn't do.
I got it.
He went and pulled the sample.
So did I.
That's what I got right there, baby.
Yeah.
So that's this one, and that's the last of it. So I'm going to compare the two.
There we go. I like it.
Hey, Turner, how about this one? Venezuelan, finished in a Woodford double oak.
It's going to be, I don't know. Let's roll it, CT. I think you're going to like it.
I've already drank it. I already know I like it.
All right. So smell that. Oh, God.
So if you think about rum is a very big European product. It's not a very big U.S. consumer-based product. So rum is aged in often two climates. It's either aged in the Caribbean, where it gets all extraction and all evaporation, which is a lot of the reason of why you have to add water to dilute it down to make sure you have an adequate yield. And then you'll get into the economics of the proliferation and bastardization of rum, Bacardi through taxation and shit that happened in the 70s. That's fine. Europe, there's a lot of rum that gets exported to Europe that's aged. It's a very colder climate, so it gets a lot of contraction, but not a lot of expansion. We get to put rum right in Kentucky where it can, or in Indiana and in the Southern Belt where we have all seasons. So we get to watch rum, expand and contract throughout the season in the barrel and really have the time to allow the barrel to add its particular mark on an already high quality spirit.
So I'm comparing the Pappy that was from the original, Pappy Van Winkle, before, and then the one that you have with the old Rip Van Winkle. And there's an aspect of it that is more mellow. The flavors are there, but you can taste almost there's a age of the barrel kind of thing that's going on, along with some butterscotch, where the old Rip Van Winkle barrel is much cleaner So okay, so as Ann Dimmick says, the Pappy one that we sampled, right? It's got more. There's a little bit of funk there, whereas the Old Rip that you're talking about, there's not that funk's not there. It's just the pure flavor, you know.
Yeah, nothing but flavor going on right here.
I think that's because that old Rip barrel or the Pappy barrel is just 23 years old. I mean, yeah,
Getting,
As
he
old
was
as me.
old as
getting
So when do you-
rum flavors up front, and then getting bourbon and barrel flavors on the finish.
Let's just drink the rest of the bottle.
Yes.
Call it a night.
Amazing what's going on.
Turner, how old was this Venezuelan that was put in the double oak? This is what we drank when we were.
It was 2 years old when we dropped it. So it's been sitting in double oak barrel for almost 3 years.
That is, it's amazing. It's,
I think on that sample, Turner climbed up and he had to work so hard to get it out. He dropped a little bit of sweat in there that just added into the flavor because that I just remember him trying to get up to that Woodford double oak barrel, sitting up there.
Yeah, he was working for that one.
I think that's when I got hit in the nuts from below. Rachel was trying to hit me.
See, that's more the
when
flavor.
we were trying to get it.
That was during the Pappy. That's when Rachel was thieving the Pappy barrel barefoot.
Yes, that is true. But that Venezuelan is, I mean, drinking it side by side with the Weller or the Old Rip, I take that any day of the week. It is absolutely delicious. It balances. It definitely brings out some more of the barrel than maybe the Old Rip Van Winkle does.
So Turner, it's like when we're down there, it's like I would like to come to your house because honestly, what you're doing here I love, but you've intrigued me enough. And then what Donovan's been saying, it's like I'd like to bring Donovan down with us, is that it sounds like you have some fantastic rum, just, you know, and aged that defies what rum is.
Are we just inviting ourselves to this dude's house? I feel like that's not cool.
Well, it's not like we don't know Turner, right, Turner?
Turner, let's live with you. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you get ready to take diapers and shit, but come on over.
See, there you go. Hey, I'm all for it.
I mean, Jeff's already got a grandbaby. You're back at the saddle.
I'll meet you at Starlight.
Yeah.
What?
I'll meet him at Starlight. That's way easier.
Yeah, that's easy because he's got it in barrels that are aging, but it sounds like what he's got in his garage.
I'll follow him home.
His garage. I mean,
you start stalking him.
You've gotten me back to like my rum roots right there, and this is fantastic. But I just would. It's like, okay, so CT's not like feeling the rum aspect. He like feels the tequila aspect, but I'm feeling like the pure. You know what I mean? It's like this is like your mezcal is my rum. You know, CT.
Yeah, but I can't say anything because I like both. I mean, I like a tequila or a mezcal finished in a bourbon barrel. I like a rum. I mean, the way that Turner does this with expressions of different rums is what I think is just cool. Because, you know, the other thing about rum, and I think this is something we haven't really talked about, but in Ohio, what kind of rum can you actually get? There's not a lot of rums that are available. You go in and you can get a Bacardi.
Yeah, I agree.
So what I think that's special that he brings to the table, not only is this a barrel aged rum, but he's bringing rums that you don't get a chance to buy in Ohio anyway. You're not buying a Venezuelan, a Foursquare really is not. I don't know that even Foursquare is available in Ohio, but there's not a lot of rums in Ohio. You have to go out of state. So the fact you can get them in a way that kind of ties the two together, to me is awesome.
So Brian Hoyt said he's gotten bourbon folks and Scotch folks to try Rolling Fork, and they love it, Turner. And then Ann is talking about that with Donovan, that we all got to meet at Starlight, and CT's right on there, and maybe we'll drag the kid that day, and we got to meet down at Starlight coming up, because that would to have Ann Dimmick, have Donovan Goebel come down, and then all of us. That would be a fantastic day, right, Turner?
Well, we love Endemic, so she's got an open door policy. So if Endemic wants to come down, she's invited. Donovan, it sounds like you want to try some Jamaican with me, buddy. So let's make it happen. And yeah, I mean, you guys, come on down. Like, all right.
Hey, real quick story, because I think
come on up, because I'm down south.
you're gonna have to get on a plane. Come on, Nash. But
Yeah,
hey,
I'm game for that.
You will do it on not even a bet, dude.
That's right.
I'll go right now.
So Turner, I'm at a local distillery in Columbus, Ohio, that I go to for lunch a lot of times after I get done with work. And I'm there the day that some of the stuff that you did with the OHLQ is getting released, and the bartender is talking to one of the guys that I believe was their chef, and they're talking about some things, and he picks up a bottle of Rolling Fork, and he's like, yeah, I picked this up. We picked it up today from such and such, the place that they buy their liquor from, the liquor store. And he's like telling the guy, and I'm like, have you ever had it? And so they like turn around and they're like, well, no, it's new. We've never had it. What are you talking about? And I'm like, well, do you like rum? And the guy's like, well, yeah, we love rum. And I'm like, if you like rum, this is going to be a game changer. So we ended up talking about it for quite a while, and the guys were just super excited to try it. So I think that, the state of Ohio, the thing is we have a lot of people that are into bourbons. They're into all these different things, but the newness of what you're doing with Rolling Fork is getting good traction, because there's people out there that are recognizing that it is what it is, and that you're doing some awesome stuff.
It makes sense, Turner. What you're doing totally makes sense at a time where I really think you picked the right time period to do it. I mean, a couple of years ago, nobody liked finished bourbon. They used to, 2019, I'd get my ass handed to me if I brought up Angel's Envy. It's like, they'd tell me it wasn't bourbon. But right now, everybody, it is a massive wave of people loving finished bourbon, and I like a certain amount of finished bourbon. There's no doubt about it. It's not all the greatest, there's no doubt, but at the same time, I really love the fact of what you're doing with the rum, and we've talked about this a little bit. I would have been a pirate. I can drink the shit out of rum, but I've never drank good rum. So Turner, that day when I met you at the Bourbon on the Banks, where you basically had like 2 trash cans and a wood piece going across, and you had the Rolling Fork out there, and you were no tent out, and then they put you in the sun, and it's just like, and then Alan was right there telling you about how much he loved your grandfather's history, right, into Indiana and everything, your family history. So it was fantastic. I mean,
that was our first meeting, and ever since, man, it's been great. I'm telling you what, I've learned more and more about this rum and the history of and your history, and it's been fantastic. And I know there is so much more to your background, your history, and to all this rum, and looking forward to it and to the future. Yeah. Cheers to your future, dude. I mean, it's awesome, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Cheers. I got started fucking around with a 9-gallon pot still and a 6-gallon pot still out of my garage. And that was in 2010. And then I met my partner Jordan in 2012, and he's a smart guy. He's electrical, much smarter than I am. So then we started working together, and we got to working. I had a hand crank mill in my garage where I was milling my own corn and shit, and coming up with my own grain-based mash bills. And then we started playing with sorghum because sorghum's a Kentucky native product that can grow in Kentucky, primarily the mid and upper Midwest.
Wisconsin.
Kentucky,
I went by a
yeah,
bunch of those. Yeah.
Wisconsin, yeah, Kansas, yeah. And when we got into molasses, and to gelatinize a grain-based spirit and to get it to turn from a grain to a fermentable sugar, you got to heat it up to like 204 degrees. Then the corn has to cook. Then it has to slowly temperature down without massive change in temperature. So it has to take time. So when it drops to when you can add the barley and then the rye, and that takes like 8 hours to get to fermentation. And like we started playing with molasses, it's like, oh, we could do this in an hour and a half. But when we worked on coffee filters and aeration and all these things to make something out of my garage that didn't make you go blind and my dad didn't hate, and we started to make something that didn't suck. And notable people were like, "You guys have some sense of what you're doing," but we had no distillery money, and so that's how we Super Nash. I started this shit in the garage, and I appreciate making it on time to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, and like you said, I like the fact that you tell the story about how your family went from being on this high mountain, like they were one of the top distilleries, and then they went through what they went through, and now you're rebuilding your part of it. And I think that's very commendable. And I think people need to know your story for sure, because when they see the bottle, it's not just the rum that's been aged in a barrel, and there's more to you than just that. So
exactly, and I'm glad that we're being able to get this out there, a little bit of it, because like I said, there's so much more. So much more to it.
So yeah, so much more. The Amberana that you sent up. Talk about that to finish this off, because I got this poured in the glass, and sometimes when you're drinking whiskey with an Amberana finish, if you don't like sweetness, you might not like Amberana. As CT, he's just not a fan of that. But when you combine it with rum, explain what Amberana is, and then also explain how this came about.
It came about through our fine friends at Starlight, because they had a contract with the Italian brokerage that had a contract with the government of Brazil to export Amberana barrels. Yeah. So then there's the question of, well, what is an Amberana barrel?
Right.
An Amberana is a type of wood that grows in the southern Amazon, or in Brazil, it's a protected oak. I don't even know if it's an oak. Protected species that is traditionally used to age cachaça. And cachaça is a Brazilian equivalent of rum. It's a cane-based spirit. And pretty much all cachaça is clear. So aged cachaça is not very common, especially in the U.S. market. But up until probably the past 7 years ago, nobody had ever heard or thought of Amberana as a thing.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're a tangent to the U.S. whiskey growth. All of a sudden, it became a thing. And you were making whiskey that tasted like buttery cinnamon.
Syrup, like French toast.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like,
and I will say Ted's use of the Amburana is different than some, like I think his, and I can't remember because I've talked to him about this because it seems like they found a barrel that they used initially and then it just kind of it snowballed into what it is today. And he was bringing Amburana into the country that he was actually helping other people get it because they couldn't get it. And his use of it, his blends work better for me than some because there is a lot of it out there, and some of it tastes like cinnamon toast crunch. Like it's just not
so CT, why the fuck haven't you done Amburana finish something in cinnamon toast crunch? Because that's
because
what
I
you
would
do.
probably get sick on camera.
Yeah. I mean, for God's sakes, you pour everything on top of cereal. Why the hell? This makes sense. You know what? We're gonna make some French toast next Saturday, and we're gonna use this Amburana finished rum, and we're gonna use it as syrup, and we're gonna have it with butter.
I'm just going to tell
I'm
you
down.
that there's not too many cereals that I wouldn't put this rum on top of. I'm already thinking of ideas of this.
I can't wait till you soak Twinkies. I'm waiting for that one. Soak the Twinkies in the whiskey.
There's a product there. I mean, alcohol. We're all buying alcoholic adult things now anyway. So
So wait a minute, Turner. So if I soak a Twinkie in your 4 Square rum, you're a buyer?
Sure, buddy. Absolutely.
Bro, I'm a buyer.
If
I'm like,
you
done
do
with
it,
this. I'm so excited.
Hey, wait! Not only that, but let's deep fry that fucker. We'll deep fry that Twinkie. So this, I would have to say that this Amburana mixed with the rum, I think, honestly, the rum mixed way better with the Amburana than the whiskey does. There's an aspect of mellowness that the rum it's like a transition between the two that's really spectacular. Where I find Amburana finishes with whiskey are separate experiences.
The whiskey is too oily. It's too grain based. For whatever reason, I don't like it. And the Amburana is apparently it's such a soft oak that be it the booze from rum is cane based. It has no grain maturation or no grain production to have these oils and fattier acids that can compose in whiskey. It's a much smoother combination. And then also people fuck it up by using chips instead of having the actual barrel. And so
and I think that's the difference is Ted uses an actual barrel, correct?
Yeah.
Well, wait.
Greg Snyder says that Amburana oak is awesome, has so many amazing flavor extractables, such a cinnamon bomb.
Yeah.
He definitely agrees.
Yeah, but CT, why are you talking about Ted? It's Turner uses them. I get
I'm saying
them
that
from Ted, but yes, other people are using chips.
But I think that Ted is because he was able to get it the way he got it, he was able to do barrels with it instead of just adding it into a already oak barrel.
For what Finesse said and what Greg said, the barrels that we're using from Ted are 5th or 6th youth cycles barrels, and you're getting that flavor out of it. Yeah. What Super Nash and what Greg are talking about is it's such a complex barrel that it has legs, and you not that you need to make 17 products out of one barrel set, but in the world of finishing, you can do a lot with one barrel, and it still be very interesting.
Kind of like a Madeira barrel where you could use it time and time again.
Yeah.
And have you done any Madeira finishes?
Not yet.
Oh, you got it. I got a guy.
Wait, so he does. He definitely does.
He does have a guy.
Wait, I gotta tell you, Turner. Andemic said it's kind of think it's like being dragged down a gravel road, but in a good way. That's why Ann Dimmick is who Ann Dimmick is right there. There's no way to do that. Is like the perfect description of something that I don't even think. That's the first time I think I have to give that a heart. Can I give that a heart? Yeah, I'm giving that some.
You have to be a pretty
right there.
You have to be a pretty optimistic person to sit there and say that being drugged down a gravel road was a good thing.
I mean, there's ways you can
I mean, we've all met Ann. I mean, the kid hasn't, but we've all met Ann, and we completely understand that. Yep, she said that's her.
My final pour. I'm going to have to do this 14-year Jamaican rum. But it just happens to be right over the left shoulder of Turner there. So feel free, guys, if y'all have a bottle.
Hey, Turner, do you remember the last sample that you gave me that's like old as shit? I think it's 16-year, right?
Ooh, yeah.
He goes,
I'm 16.
Yeah, it's 16-year-old Foursquare. That's the 2007 mark. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks. So you ready for awesome? Hey, finish that the fuck off.
I'm gonna go get some. I'm gonna go get some Applegate or whatever the hell rum that is, since I don't have that, and I'll try it and see how.
Are you gonna get your? I think
Applegate.
you're actually probably going down to get some salted caramel crown, right?
Applegate.
I think it is. Hold on, I'm gonna get it.
Yep. There we go. Give me the. Yeah. There we go.
I will, Turner. I will say, like, you really have changed my perception of rum, though. Like, I went into this being like, oh God, I hate rum, but the way that you have actually made this work, I'm really impressed.
That's exactly what I think you're going for, right, Turner?
Yeah, 100% is. And in full transparency, we've literally just done the reverse of what major rum producers have done the past 30 years. So we're like, I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not the distiller, and we buy from a lot of amazing distilleries that we are huge fans of, because now there's a core component of making things the right way. And so we're just the purveyors of things that aren't trash.
Well, you had the eye for it, though, in fairness.
No, yeah, I mean, Turner, to go out and do what you're doing, I mean, going and picking these barrels out is something that you can't demean what you're doing by, like, it's not something that just anybody did or would want to do or was doing. And the fact that you went out and started doing that, but you know what, I could see down the line, you know, you were running that still. I mean, you get this going and you get the rolling fork really rolling, you could start to distill your own rum. There's no doubt about it, right? It's possible.
Someday. No.
Hey, don't move too much. The video glitches and you look really odd.
So Turner,
yeah,
so you were saying no or yes to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Saturday.
I saw the excitement, but then I heard a no, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I meant to say let's go.
Let's go, not no. Okay. It
you guys have been to our good friend Royce Neely's outfit.
Yes.
And we are doing a long fermentation, which is over 13 days. Wild yeast strain, double pot Kentucky rum.
So explain. Okay, so I never knew. So the first ever, when the Pilgrims came over, the first ever fermentation was called natural fermentation, and it usually took about a month. And they got here a little late in the season because they got lost. And that first fermentation didn't take. So then in the spring they did it, and it was about 33 days. But the average fermentation for whiskey or whatever is 72 hours, and people talk, and that is all about streamlining the yeast to basically eat the sugar as fast as it can, but still produce some good alcohol. They've got it down to a science. But when you talk about a natural fermentation, it's basically you throw all the stuff in there and wait for the yeast to come, and then you wait for it to eat it, and then you wait for whatever. And there's something said about, like you said, when you think about it, you think about all the people trying to rush the maturation. Well, everybody's already rushing the yeast production because you can't sit around that long waiting. It's just not financially part of the model, right? You gotta have the yeast with muscle produce some good stuff, and they've got it down. But at the same time, if you take your time, 13 days, I mean, honestly, it's got to make the yeast, they did it, and they didn't do it under pressure.
Cousin of the Neely, I'm sorry, no, I don't know why I said Charles Medley, from Medley Brothers Distillery and from Watkins Bourbon and from Old Medley. I got a great recording of how the Towns came in and fucked everything up in the mid 90s. And if you think about it, before the 90s, people were often using cypress as a fermentation tank. Mm-hmm. So we were fermenting in oak, which I'm not a scientist. I'm not that person, but I can tell you that it added a different flavor extraction to whiskey produced between the 50s and the 80s than it does now when it goes into a steel tank. And much respect to Royce from what he's doing. They ferment in oak. And when you add activated yeast, I don't know what activated yeast. I know what it says on the label. Activated. It's hyper ready to activate, to convert those sugars to ethanols in a swift process where it takes less than 3 to 5 days. Wild yeast, to what you're talking about, there's an invariable of time. Now it's predicted down between 12 to 15 days, but let's put shit in cypress and let's throw wild yeast on it and let's see what happens. And we bought $3,000 worth of molasses, and we're gonna rip it. And it might suck. It might take us 2 to 3 years to figure out what we need to do to tailor down and where we are missing, whether it's a temperature issue or whether it's the particular type of component issue that we're using. We're going to learn it all, but we're rolling the dice on Saturday.
Rolling fork.
Did you say that's on right. Saturday? This Saturday, you're rolling the dice?
We're starting the fermentation process.
Wow.
I'm scrolling back, way back to the middle of this whole conversation that we've been having. Greg made a comment. He says, love it. Trials, tribulations, experiments, successes, failures, try and try again. Love what Turner and his team have accomplished. He had put this in here way back halfway through this podcast tonight. So that just goes right along with what you're saying just right now.
And then Donovan said 13 days doesn't seem like too long. 3 to 4 weeks, that's long fermentation. Hamden is all natural fermentation, open air, yeast added. And then he's leaving now. But at the same time, like you said, 3 to 4 years and you can figure it out. That is really cool, Turner. That means you're just ready. you're not going to rush but you're going to perfect your craft, and I'm all for that. That's how we all go about doing things, right?
Someone, I forget who said it, but someone said it's like I don't. Like picking a single barrel is easy because you can find the best of the lot and you can pick it, just like selling a dog. Taking two single barrels and blending them with 4 to 6 barrels that suck to make something that's good is an art.
Yeah.
It's what makes a distiller a distiller. There's no doubt, or a blender a blender.
Yeah, makes blender
Because
a
you got to
master
know what
blender.
to do with the barrels. I mean, there's some places you just got to throw them out, but overall, there's you throwing out a barrel.
No, you don't throw. They don't throw them out. They repurpose them.
So, long story short, lose money on all this. Like, it sucks. I'll put it into something. I'm not here.
Yeah,
but over the longevity of time, we hope to make something that's of quality and of worth that we can continue to age.
So the 16-year, I'm tasting it here.
Yeah.
Thank you, motherfucker.
Right?
Oh my God. So
What
you did it. It tastes like there's still half of this, and it goes to you, CT, and you, Nash. When you guys come up, you're gonna taste this. It's the definition of perfection of what he's doing. There's oak, there's whiskey, there's rum, there's bourbon, there's rye. There's every aspect in there. Perfect balance, not too sweet, but sweet enough. And that's a special. I need a bottle of that, Turner.
Turner, which leads me into my next question. Can you leak any information about what's coming forth in the state of Ohio through these bottles?
Is Ann still on? Like what?
Yeah, Ann just said there's the tagline. Thank you, mofo. That's what Ann is still on. So you really probably can't turn.
And if we're going to get drug across the freaking gravel driveway, at least we can know when we get to the end of that shit what we're getting.
It says no.
This is real important, and this is from Greg. And he says, Turner, if you want to discuss, I can help you with what you want to accomplish. Wild yeast can create many unique, unreproducible aromas and flavors. Might be awesome, but might not be reproducible.
All right, I know how to. I've reached out to Greg. I know
you know how to reach out to him. So.
I do.
And,
awesome.
And hopefully we're going to have a Turner's Reserve coming soon.
Oh, I'm not stepping on Greg's toes. That man, or whatever the kids say now, that man's earned all his flowers wherever the fuck it is.
He's the GOAT.
He made Russell Reserve.
Yep.
Like, if I'm going to think of a brand that I've bought more of in the past decade, it's nothing but that. Like, that was the quintessential, like that in Knob Creek 9-year barrel proof, when that shit was rolling out for $55, like, it's just like that you can't make something better than what those guys have produced and what he's been able to do with Chicken Cock and taking over and managing that brand and building its expressions, but also just the core components of what he's.
Turner, wait till you taste this March so this year what he was distilling went into. It's so much night and day between the bottle that was on the shelf last year and what it was on this year. And then now the next year is going to be when he made all the barrels and picked all the staves. Whereas the year before, he just bought the barrels and put his distillate in, and it's good. I cannot wait till March when he's got all those wood sugars coming in from that West Virginia Grape Barrel Company. And then the last thing I'm going to say is Anne is saying single barrel Saturday might be a thing again. And I'm like, and she's like, and rum folks, this will be our moment. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you, Anne, I want to come down to Columbus and hang out. We'll just spend the whole night, me, you, CT, in CT's truck, just waiting for the getting in line and waiting to get single barrel. And we'll do lives the whole throughout the whole night and in line. And we invite Anne to come with us.
Hey, we'll have Nash come up and Turner can get in line.
Nash is coming up on Friday. So
yeah,
CT,
I'll be up on Friday.
So CT, that morning you need to drive up and wait in line on that the secondary single barrel Friday that's coming.
Yeah.
Nash is going to be here Thursday night. You got to be on the podcast with Matt from Augusta that Thursday night.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get up early, and then we're gonna do single barrel Friday morning, and then at 11 o'clock we're doing a podcast, 2 o'clock we're doing a podcast, and then the Christmas party. And Turner, you are invited to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Christmas party at Gervasi Vineyard, and they have lodging, but there's also lodging here in Canton. It's Friday night, December 15th. If you want to bring your wife up, that we are having the Scotchy.
Greg says send him the dates.
Yeah. Hey, Turner, I'm on the way. You can stop by here, and we'll go up, and we'll stand in line and be talking it up. Like, hey, man, I heard they're gonna have this rolling fork. It's gonna be epic, you know. And everybody else is gonna be standing there going, I hope I get a Weller Blue.
Greg Schneider just said, send me the dates. I will send you the dates. And Ann said, you could save me a spot. That's not even. And they don't let you put chairs out.
What did Ann do to like prevent her from like having chairs?
No. So when you're in line, you can't save spots in line. And she's just like being sarcastic as hell right there. OHLQ is well aware of what saving a spot means. It means living hell.
Oh yeah.
Turner just said something and we couldn't hear him. It didn't.
Okay, go ahead, Turner.
Spotting to the kid where it's like, no, Ann Bennett, she's the spot. She gets to say.
Yes. I mean, if everybody knew where Ann was, the line would be triple.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know where is she then? Give me their phone.
Oh, so that is just spectacular. All right, everybody.
I'm gonna bring a chair and have a little sign on it that says "Andemic." Put it out there
and see what happens.
Yeah, just to see what happens.
Mine's gonna say Greg Schneider on it. I mean, I'm going all out.
There you go.
So Todd Carnes has just jumped in and he goes, rum, huh? No, Todd, rum finished in whiskey barrels. It's where it's at. It's something new and it's spectacular. You need to check out.
No, it's not new. It's actually it's just being put out there and
it's actually
talked about more and more.
Yeah, it's actually 9 years old.
Yep, absolutely.
Spectacular.
Or 14.
Hey,
or 11. Just depending on what country you want to talk about.
And like we said, and just kind of recapping this, I mean, and we went there, in March? Is that when we met
April.
At the distillery, Turner?
It was cold as shit, but it was April.
It was cold as shit. It was nice, though, and it was still, like, sunny out. But we drank from so many different barrels that you were aging, and it was unbelievable. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yep. And then Todd's...
barrels I didn't go ahead.
And then...
Listen, here we are trying to educate Todd.
Yeah.
and he was on the barrel pick for Ohio for
Well,
for the
Turner, you
rolling
like
pork.
Todd. You know Todd, right, Turner?
Yeah.
Todd Carnes. Yeah.
Yep. He did the hookup. But you know, we're all on your side, Turner. Not only, I'll just have to say this, Turner. Your whiskey, your whiskey finished rum is good, and all that you're doing, but also meeting you and getting to know you. That's the part about what good spirits is about, and you definitely have a passion for what you're doing, and then also you have a kindness and you have the attitude and everything it takes to be in this industry, because that's what I love about being in this industry. Before I got into this, I could count a couple friends. Now that I'm into the whiskey industry and the spirits industry, I've got 50, 60 really good friends. And then when you call people family and brothers, I mean, you're part of that. How there's just something about good spirits and and making it and what you're doing and everybody in the industry that makes it's what life is about, right? I mean, that's why we're all doing this, because you're working hard and you have a passion, but at the moment it's paying some bills and everything, but it's not like you're sitting there and you're in a mansion right now in your podcast studio and your wife is we know what's going on, but at the same time, man, it's like there's a love between the people that are doing this, and there's a love of the passion of what they're doing, but also the love between the people, and that's what good spirits is about, right?
Alan Bishop just tuned in, and he said, "What's up, Turner?"
Oh, Bishop's here.
Also, Greg said he's about to tune out, and he is going to be off the grid for a couple of weeks, or actually, yep, he's going hunting, pheasant hunting in South Dakota for a few days. So, cheers, buddies, and drink what you like and like what you drink.
Greg, take Luca with you. Teach him how to go pheasant hunting. He wants to go.
Good luck, Greg, and cheers.
Wait.
And cheers to you, Alan.
Okay, so we're going to end, brother. We're going to end the audio part of the podcast, but we're going to keep Facebook rolling because we got Bishop here. We've got Ann Dimmick. We're talking about the parties just starting. So let's, did you bring a ghost story? She's like ready for it. It's just like, here we go. So everybody on the podcast, thanks for listening tonight. And remember,
I love it, Alan.
We're oh, you're such a thanks. Thanks, Alan. I know what you think of Nickelback. God, it's just like I just feel like I'm a 2-year-old boy now. It's like it's just like wow. That was like harsh, Alan. All right. So, anyways, good bourbon equals good friends and good times. Thank you, Turner, for joining us on the audio podcast. We're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.scotchybourbonboys.com. You have anything to just give out all your information, Turner, to promote yourself?
On Instagram or on Worldwide Brand at rollingpork.com. If you're ever at the Starlight Ceremony, ask about some rum. They might have some in stock bars. And just gave Alan a barrel of 12-year-old Brazilian rum that was just freshly dumped, and he's going to be doing some cool shit with it. So looking forward to see what he does.
All right.
Sounds awesome. All right. Super Dash CT.
Last question before you go. How many states are you currently distributed in?
I can ask that. I can answer that. He said 18.
18? Okay. All right.
Am I right, Turner?
That's right. Because I asked the question already, you fool.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I missed it. I must have been reading comments or something.
Yeah,
trying to keep up with everything.
You're distracted. I get it.
Good bourbon equals good times and good friends
and good mistakes.
Remember, drink responsibly, don't drink
Or
and
not.
drive, and live your life dangerously. And little Steve-O's gonna take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right. So there we go. Keep the Hey guys, do you have to leave, CT, or are you all so tardy that you can stay longer?
I'm good for right now.
All right,
Yeah.
Turner.
Yeah.
Stay a little bit longer. We've got Ann still on. Alan Bishop is still on. We've got Todd Carnes. Keep it going. I'm gonna save this so I don't lose it. And this is Turner. Like always, I look forward to your podcasts because you basically. I just there's an aspect of what you bring out is just there's you have such passion for what you're doing and the people that help you out.
Yeah, and unique. It's a unique thing that you're doing.
It's unique. It is, and I appreciate that, CT. I'll piggyback on Tiny. There's a lot of people. Like, selling anything is not the most fun thing to do in the world. And there's a community of people that you look up to, that kind of keep you driving, and there's a community of people that support you, like you guys, and the fact that Alan jumped on and he's still here, and there's this whole ecosystem of support that really does help you not want to just fucking quit on a Tuesday.
My wife come downstairs and start the dryer.
What about your partner, Jordan? I mean,
Hi, Rachel.
We don't ever see much of him or hear much about him. Is he like the silent partner?
You'll never see that mad scientist. Oh, he was gonna actually join today. His job is technically out in California, so this is a part of his working hours.
Okay.
It's so lucky. I was in a partnership with 2 dudes that brought nothing to the table, and I experienced that for 18 months, and that gave me confidence to realize that no one's going to deliver on what we thought we would bring to the table. And Jordan's come on these things, and he's not very super sociable. That's a guy I want in my foxhole with me. That's
yeah.
That's. I mean, he's smart as a whip, but he'll show up when you need it. And he owns a shit ton of shotguns, so I'm covered if I need a shotgun.
So my question is, Turner and Ann, so what is the rum market compared to the whiskey market actually? I mean, the rum market, obviously, clear spirit, I understand. And is it like when it comes to I understand what whiskey is to the market itself. Is the rum market a lot bigger, like triple the size of the whiskey market, or is it the same? I don't understand the rum market at all. So is there?
So let's segment this into 2 to 3 categories: global market, and then U.S. market.
Mm-hmm.
Globally, whiskey is probably a 1 to, and U.S. based rum to whiskey is maybe 1 to 50.
So rum is much smaller.
Infinitely.
Well, I mean, whiskey is the.
It's not vodka or tequila.
No,
Because
not at
vodka
all.
and tequila is a bigger market, right?
What?
Oh,
The U.S.'s national
absolutely,
drink
yes.
is whiskey. Makes sense.
Well,
Oh, well, vodka was just taken over by tequila is the #1 sold spirit in the U.S.
right.
Yeah, actually.
Yes,
Hmm?
by far. Like the
That makes me
whiskey.
kind of mad.
No,
if I'm being
no, the
honest.
whiskey. I think they said 12-13%, and it does. That's a really good number right there. Whereas then you've got all the other spirits that make up the other 87%.
So what's tequila right
Tequila owns U.S. market share. So it's tequila is probably a 10 to 12 billion-dollar global market.
now? Globally or in the U.S.?
Here in the U.S., tequila is probably a $6 billion market. We're one of the highest capita drinking populaces in the
As a
world.
red
Now
letter
you also
patriot,
like
I am very upset.
Of course. I mean, you can't make tequila here. We import it, but people don't party with whiskey. Okay, wait. Tequila is cross gender. It's like women drink tequila, men drink tequila. Tequila is like the choice of a lot of young people who want to just get shit-faced fast.
But it's also it's in one of the biggest spirits that is drank in the United States, and that's a margarita. I mean, you think about how many margaritas are served across. It's the #1 drink.
CT Applebee's is not doing a bourbon and soda for $1 deal on Monday nights.
No, they don't do old fashions. No.
It can also be poorly produced and heavily flavored. Like just in general, like if you're gonna sell something for $1, that means you're making it for less than 19 cents. So all your components have to sell. Like they're not fresh squeezing lime. Like a traditional margarita should be 2 ounces of lime, 1 ounce of tequila, 1 ounce of fresh made simple syrup, and ice, and maybe club soda or not.
It doesn't even have triple sec in it anymore.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, tequila is you said it there. It crosses the boundaries of being able to appeal to both men and women, and it's accepted in a different. I mean, if which I feel like bourbon has gained a lot of traction. People are coming back to the old fashions, the Manhattans.
Yeah, but they have to come back to the bourbon slushy, the peach bourbon slushy at the Volstead. That's the drink that you got to come back to. But they're not.
But people are. They're finding that there are ways to drink bourbon, and that introduces people into the industry in a different way. I mean, you can make an old fashioned with rum, and it's really good, but not everybody gives that a shot because they're just used to what they can get when they go out to dinner, and that's typically a margarita.
We're done, but we're just on Facebook. What's up?
Family
okay,
time.
She's saying hi to. Okay, it's the kid. All right. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I understand the market. I mean, I even understand Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. I mean, they basically outsell. They outsell all the craft, all the top shelf. Small. It's just like
Dude, now listen, given some time, what Turner's doing with aging this rum in these barrels and pulling the rum. Oh my gosh! And just between the marketing, give it some time. This stuff, too. And I mean,
the greatest form of flattery will be when the next company comes along that starts mimicking exactly what he's doing, and that's not far down the road.
Well, yeah, and Turner, just like you're much younger than me. So when I'm gone, all I want you to do when you're like a multi-billionaire in the industry and you've changed everything, just mention me.
Oh,
carry on my legacy. That's all I ask.
That's all I ask. Just mention me.
Wait, Turner, how old are
you're
you?
telling me I'm going to be a multi-billionaire and I'm going to change shit? Then deal. Absolutely, I will take that.
Well, actually, I'd like to live long enough to party with you when we're partying in your penthouse.
Oh.
When you're owning Kentucky, that you're at the.
Okay, so I would love for you guys to come to my penthouse so that I could drive you. I could drive you a mile down the road, because the guy a mile down the road from me patented Fireball with Sazerac. And I've got a 3-house monstrosity estate. Like, we don't live in. I got Fireball living next door to me, and that shit, we all got to figure out an invite, because he's got 3 houses. We got 17 garages. We can do whatever we want.
Let's work on that together.
Let's go. That's our mission.
Yeah.
Not about to.
So Bishop says Brown and Foreman could lose everything, meaning Old Forester, Woodford Reserve, and keep Jack and be fine. And that is a fact, because Jack Daniels, I don't care what people say who know whiskey or whatever, Jack Daniels alone produces more than any other worldwide, and Jim Beam is behind it, and they caught up. After that, it's all scotches, and you know what I mean? And they're right up there. They produce, but people just don't understand Jack Daniels and how much that goes into drinks and people and name recognition and everything that it has. People just don't understand.
I was just there Saturday on the tour, and being in Jim Beam and then going on the Jack Daniels tour. And I was there 20 years ago, and then being there this past Saturday on the tour and looking at their high wine and low wine dispensers. Oh my God. It's just like the gallons that are pouring out of there.
It's beyond,
as compared to what Jim Beam and all.
Jim Beam has. It's beyond a fire hydrant.
Yeah, it's beyond the fire hydrant.
That's just crazy.
They have like 4 of them in a row that's pouring out like Jim Beam's is. Like, and I mean just like bigger than a fire hydrant. And I was just like, holy crap. And they're like, this is going, and the girl was like telling me, this is going 24/7. And the thing is, they won't let you do any video or pictures or anything inside there anymore because of the static electricity and blah blah blah.
Hey.
And all, and so old. But anyway,
hey,
oh my God, I just wanted to take a picture or video so bad.
Turner.
But
so yeah. Alan said that he's seen the house you're talking about. Okay, that you're whatever, and he said right down the road from my business partner, whose great grandfather worked for Turner's family. So there you go, Turner. It's like you've got a lot going for you, and there's an aspect, but you're so grounded, and that's what I love about the industry. Your groundedness, Greg Schneider's groundedness, Alan Bishop. What I love about Alan Bishop is he researches the shit out of everybody, and he'll even tell people like yourself that a history aspect about your family that you might not have known. And that's why this industry is so great.
You have, lifestyle brands like what was the whiskey brand sold in the tin can for a while? Like, you
Chicken
have those
cock
things. But no.
in the tin. Back when
Stillhouse?
Ellington.
Stillhouse. Yes, Chris. I'm not insulting. Yeah.
Stillhouse is garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, Stillhouse. Yes, you're talking about in a tin right now. I still can go but you still can go to Giant Eagle here up and
Yes.
get Stillhouse.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, they've got a fuck ton. Yeah, I mean,
when you come up, let's just do a cheap whiskey get fucked up night.
Everybody bring
I'm
the
down.
cheapest whiskey they can find.
I'm not drinking Stillhouse. It ain't happening.
It's all like we're in this non-competitive race to
Exactly.
to spend a lot of fucking time to be the next guys, because Booker, no, I look up to Parker. I'm not a fucking distiller. I just respect the time and the effort that those guys put into this. I look up to what Alan's doing. I look at what a lot of out there that's in craft, which I appreciate what you guys bring to the table, because the majority of us buy whiskey like we buy wine label. We're shopping for one fucking thing. It's Blue Label Weller. It's Red Label Weller. Like, that's not synonymous with American. Like, I look at the brandy that Alan makes. Look at that absinthe that is being produced in the United States.
Well, I went to Liberty Pole, and Liberty Pole, I mean, what they're doing there, pot stills and 7-year and tasting it out of the people in this country, and that's in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is starting to, you got they really haven't put their mark back on the map, but the whiskey revolution was in Pennsylvania because that was the place everybody was distilling, and it chased everybody to Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean,
look at Michter's started there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Michter's and we tasted whiskey from Pennsylvania
I opened up a bottle with
Dan, and they respected the shit out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, bourbon is called native spirit, and I'm fine with that, but we didn't make bourbon until after the Revolutionary War, because we were only colonial coastal states.
Hey,
Turner, that only produce. Yeah.
How old are you?
40.
Awesome. Yeah.
We didn't. No colonial state was making bourbon. We were making a high rye produced spirit. It was very crude, or we were making a sugar-based spirit. So there was no bourbon that was made before the Revolutionary War. But once to the Midlands, when we could access corn, and a byproduct of corn based off of what we could do as a method of survival was to take spent corn and grind it down to a process that could be heated up and then created into a fermentable alcohol. That's all just survival. Like, we're always, and I'm fine with bourbon being America's spirit. It is. It's 100%.
But honestly, realistically, I mean, bourbon for before Congress in 1964 stuff, it didn't have to be in a new charred oak barrel. They determined that based off of they had a shit ton of new oak barrels that they discovered plastic to put oil in, and they used to put it in oak, and now they had millions and millions of oak barrels and they didn't know what to do with it. So they determined it had to be a new charred oak barrel. Not that doesn't define the spirit, because the flavor that a new charred oak barrel defines, but Scotch, Canadian whiskey, Irish whiskey, all can be put in used barrels. And if you put bourbon into a used barrel, it's now American whiskey, which that's not a bad thing, but somehow, that bourbon thing that happened, it somehow had a negative connotation, but it's bullshit, right?
Allen says no mention of the word bourbon until the 1820s.
Yep.
You know what we're running out of? New American oak.
Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, we're not running out of it.
We
Turner,
just can't replicate
Turner,
it.
we're not running out of it.
Yeah.
We just exceeded its capacity. We're exceeding its capacity. It's like 12 billion barrels is its capacity, and we've exceeded it.
They're making more bourbon than you can get the oak for, because oak is being used for so many different commodities. All right. And so oak is basically being split up into, you're getting much commodity for oak barrels, and then all this other oak is going for building material and other products and all. So it's being exceeded by the bourbon development.
So we only buy used bourbon barrels. And there's no shortage of used.
I'm feeling good.
I'll be okay for the next 10 years. But we created a consumer restriction that then, once it became a volumized product, now it's going to be a challenge for people.
I don't know if it's going to be a challenge. I think American whiskey, I think American single malt, the definition of single malt, a single malt, you don't have. I mean, it's normal to put single malt into a used barrel. So
100%.
Why who's in trouble, in my opinion, as this happens? Scotch, because they're so used to the massive amount of used barrels coming to them
from America.
America. Well, if American distilleries start using those used barrels and Americans accept it, it's the Scotch industry that's going to suffer.
Not someone that spends a lot of money on the used brokered market. It's the shortage is here. So for Scotch, now obviously if you're grandfathered in and you have a long-term contract, you'll be okay. It wasn't what it was, but I know very significant producers that are just buying whatever they can get their hands on, so they have no quality control. But now that quality control is also dipped in quantity. So if you're dipping in quantity and in quality, it's, to your point, you're going to affect the other outside areas' production abilities.
Where's also going to your outcome in product, your product too.
What?
Yeah.
When you start accepting that stuff.
What are you asking?
I guess my question is where is basically the choke neck in supply when it comes to this?
Well, I mean, so it's not a supply, it's actually a demand issue. So if you look at the financial and discus data, we've not been producing more booze. We've just been raising cost of prices of booze year over year for the past 12 plus years. So we've seen 10 to 15% growth in the American whiskey economy, but it's not a volume. There's a small volume base, but the big base of growth has been in sales price. We were selling Peter Top Elijah Craig 12-year for $5, 10 years ago. Now now one, they don't sell that, but now the new Elijah Craig at that's now 3 years lesser is now $90. So it's been a catch-up mode, and where now younger people, hey, the kid, keep drinking because we need you. Awesome. Younger people drink less, so that's going to be a factor. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect Alan. It doesn't really affect Greg. Like but in terms of the whole market economy, we've driven up price, and now the cost of goods to get oak and to get glass, all that shit's more expensive. But people are spending less because price has been driven so. Yeah,
prices are high, and also the economy has gone to, you got to spend more on your house, you have to spend more on your groceries, and basically whiskey or alcohol is a luxury item in a lot of cases.
Did I misinterpret right?
Turner, you said at the same, there's one thing to consider too. At the same time, you said that younger people were drinking less, but at the same time, the population of younger people is actually, like tripling and quadrupling in size. So you're actually
no, but you got to remember.
gaining